Hello and welcome to Ramble with Rob, Intuitive Tarot Readings. Today, this is going to be a message for the Cancer Collective. So let's give the cards a shuffle and let's jump straight in and see what the cards are saying for us, what the guidance is from Spirit, what the universe has in store for us, and let's see what the general vibe is for Cancerians at the current moment. Cards, Spirit, please can I have some guidance for the Cancerian Collective? We're going in fast. So the first card that came out is the Chariot, followed by one that's turned over, and the Seven of Pentacles. You just want to give me them? Okay, perfect. Let's go. So the first card, first of all, let me start off by saying we are currently in eclipse season. I believe at the time of filming this, we have 2, maybe 3 days left of the eclipse season. And I feel like a lot of past traumas, a lot of past issues, they're all starting to come to the light. And I feel like there's a real collective shift and everyone is feeling quite anxious. What it's urging us to do in the eclipse season is to purge things that no longer serve our highest purpose. So if there are things in your life, whether that be a person, a job, a situation, absolutely anything at all that no longer serves your highest purpose, it's time to have a real close look at these things and start to purge out the things that no longer serve your highest purpose. So I just wanted to start by saying that. The first card that comes out is the Chariot. What I'm drawn to the most in this intuitive read is this colour scheme here to me screams yin and yang. I really feel like there's a real need for the Cancer Collective to find balance in the current moment. Now, usually I get balance from the High Priestess card, but this I'm really drawn to. What I think is going to happen is once you find that balance, once you find that inner peace and you recognize what it is that's A, holding you back, and B, what it is that you want to go towards, I think that you will start to get movement. And that's why it's been clarified with the Chariot card as opposed to the High Priestess card. I think you need to look within yourself to see what is working, what's not working, and what you're going to do to actually shift that mindset and what you're going to do to shift your current situation. The next card that came out that landed upside down was the Eight of Swords. So again, in keeping with eclipse energy, I feel like everyone feels quite trapped at the moment. I feel like people are trapping themselves and limiting themselves with their own limiting beliefs. And I don't know whether that's to do with trauma and negative things that have happened in the past, or whether this is basically just a stagnancy in a situation. But what I would urge you to do is to purge. I think it's the most important thing to do, especially during eclipse season. Purge out anything that no longer serves your highest purpose. So if you do feel trapped or stuck in a certain situation, or like a certain situation is quite stagnant, I would start to evaluate that. I wouldn't evaluate that on a 3D level. I would go within myself and spiritually analyze that. So don't take on board people's opinions and perspectives, for example. It's really easy to get caught up in people's comments and allow them to instill their fears onto us. If you know that you're moving authentically and you're moving towards something with pure intentions and you continue to spread love and happiness and vibrate highly, I would carry on doing those things. Don't let outside and external influences actually change your path. If you are on a path that you are comfortable with and you know that it's authentic to yourself, don't let others make you feel like you're doing something wrong. If you do feel stuck and stagnant, I'd start to evaluate what things are actually making you feel that way. And I think it's a really good time to actually get rid and release anything that is holding you back. The next card that came out was the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like there is an area of your life that needs looking at, like we've just said. It needs more nourishment, and the grass is green wherever we water it, people. Like, people often move away from a negative or a bad situation that's no longer working to a situation where they basically have to start all over again. What we need to actually do is take a step back from that situation and again, not review it in the 3D, but review it from a spiritual level. So connect with yourself, connect with your higher spirit, and actually evaluate why it's happening or why it's not happening on a spiritual level as opposed to a material level. You need to start to nourish areas of your life that you want to grow. Nothing is going to just magically happen. Things are lined up for us, and things that are meant for us will never pass us by, but we still need to take action towards those things. And I feel like there are certain areas, whether that be finances, relationships, your job, for example, that do need just a little bit more inspection under the microscope. And that's not to be negative. That's not to criticalize. That's not to criticize something and feel like you're doing a bad job or that you should be doing something more. It's about highlighting the areas that you could nourish more in order to achieve more. It's further clarified by the 9 of Wands. So don't hold on so tightly to something that you start to miss all of the other blessings. I really feel like you're struggling to move on from something at the moment, or there's a fear of moving on from something because the unknown is scary. What I would say is, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I've just done a collective reading and that was pretty much the same messaging. I feel like we get so comfortable in a routine, in a habit, and I really feel like it's time to start moving away from that comfort zone because ultimately we need to grow. And what I like to ask people is, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? It's like the typical X Factor Simon Cowell question, like, where are you going to be in 5 years' time? And I think that's a very valid question. I'm very guilty of focusing on the current present situation, and it's something that through meditation and Reiki, I've been really trying hard to shift so I can actually see the bigger picture, because ultimately it's not about what's happening right now, it's about what we want to happen over the next few years and what steps are we going to take to actually achieve those things. So I wouldn't get so caught up in life that you're not working on and nourishing areas that you actually want to develop even more. We have some more cards for the Cancer Collective. Perfect. Ace of Cups. So now is a very good time to get in touch with your emotion. I know that people tend to shy away from sharing emotion. I feel like we addressed this previously as well. There are real negative connotations around people who are emotionally intelligent. I'm just going to say it. I think emotion scares people. I think that if you are somebody who is emotionally avoidant or emotionally withdrawn, I think that being around people who are so emotionally intelligent and who are so free with their emotion can be quite intimidating. Now is a great time to start having emotion and to have a look at, again, it's eclipse season, things that are actually bringing you happiness, love, joy, any emotions that are actually of a high vibration. And it's time to get rid of the things that are actually very low and they're actually causing a low vibration. So things like gossip, entertaining negative behaviors, bad habits, things like that, they all basically lower our vibration. So it's about looking at things that nourish us and feed our souls on a spiritual level, whilst also remaining authentic to ourselves. Because ultimately, when we align with ourselves in an authentic way, that's when all of the blessings and the abundance starts to flow. The next card that followed that is I always struggle with that, is the 8 of Wands here. So the 8 of Wands to me signifies movement. So we need to move in a direction. Now is a great time to take action at something and literally throw everything at the wall. See what sticks, see what hangs around, see what works, see what doesn't. It's a great time to trial things, but nothing is going to change by staying stuck in a stagnant energy. If you are drawn or intuitively downloading things that you are not taking action towards, you're not co-creating with the universe, because ultimately the things that the universe are trying to show you, you're ignoring, and the things that they're trying to guide you towards, whether that's back to something or guide you away from something, again, you are intuitively ignoring those downloads. So the universe eventually goes, I'm going to stop working alongside you right now because you are just ignoring everything that I'm trying to help you with. You might be feeling a little bit left out in the cold. So I've got the 5 of Pentacles here. But what I feel here more than anything is that you're scared to actually go outside and make those moves. And I'm not saying that you're scared to go outside or anything like that. I know that there are some people who feel that way. And again, this is not sort of a mental health reading or anything like that. This is a spiritual level reading. I wouldn't be afraid of making that movement. I wouldn't be afraid of making a change that could potentially leave you out in the cold. Why did I do that with just one finger? Out in the cold. I feel like it's time to embrace that cold. It's time to embrace that journey. Put on a nice big coat. Get yourself all ready. You are completely safe and protected, and you need to start taking action. You need to start making moves, because ultimately, what's keeping you stuck is yourself, and it's those fears, and it's the lack of trust in yourself and the lack of confidence that you have in yourself. And what I'm seeing is that there is a very bright stars, very bright light that deserves to shine, but for some reason it continues to dim itself. And I feel like you dim yourself for other people because you're acting in a way that you expect people to expect you to act, if that makes sense. You're doing this because you feel like that's what you should be doing rather than what you want to be doing. And that's when we're not moving authentically, and that's when we struggle to align with things that actually serve our highest purpose or things that are meant for us. And I always think that once we get into alignment, everything moves so much quicker. Like everything just seems to come together. Like you might meet somebody unexpectedly, you might get offered a job or finances that were never even on your radar before. And I think that all we have to do is be open to the universe giving us these blessings. And I think that's really important that we are open. We have more cards. So the next card that came out was the Wheel of Fortune. So again, confirmation that now is an excellent time to take risks. Spin that wheel. You are so divinely protected. And what I'm seeing here as well, if we just go back to the first card in the Chariot, so we're finding balance here. And if you take note of these two here, you'll find that actually we've got representation here. So it's followed through from the Chariot onto the Wheel of Fortune. Now, what we've got here is the head of one of these. So I think once you actually manage to master the balance and find what it is that you are authentically drawn to, you will be on top. It's just about taking those first few steps, I always think the first meditation's the hardest. I always think the first step is the hardest. And once we start to take those steps, everything starts to flow in a much more natural way. So please don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. It's a really good time to do so. The next card is the Moon. Now, you could be a water sign or you could be dealing with a water sign, but my main thing with the Moon is to not get so focused on the thing that's directly in front of you. These guys here, these two dogs, they're so focused on the Moon and what's actually happening and being presented in front of them that they're missing the fact that something is creeping up on them. So what I would say is don't get so focused on what's directly in front of you. Again, look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself the Simon Cowell question: where do I see myself in 5 years' time? And that is going to be the push. I think it's going to push you. I think once you start to realize that the thing that's keeping you stuck in the current moment is yourself, and you start to actually bullet point and list where you want to be, you'll be able to see the discrepancies between that, and you'll be able to see what's holding you back. And I hate to say it, but I feel like you're just holding yourself back. I think that it's the perfect time. It's been clarified by the cards that now is the perfect time to take movement towards something, but you're just not doing it for whatever reason. Why are they not moving? I know we've got the fear, we're scared of rejection, we're scared of being left out in the cold, but why are we not moving? Why is Cancerian Collective not moving? It's the end of a cycle. So you got the Death card. So I really feel like it's an end of a cycle, and you are clinging on so tightly to this thing because you don't want it to end for whatever reason. Now, it could be a person. It could be that you energetically feel, again, with the eclipse season, that something is changing, something is shifting, or you've already highlighted something doesn't work for you. And now it's time to end that cycle. That is the scary part of spirituality. It's having confidence, having trust in the universe and yourself, and knowing that you've identified that this actually doesn't work for you anymore. And you know that you need to take action towards this thing and let this cycle close out, which has just been confirmed in the Death card. But I think you're holding on too tightly. You're so focused on the current situation and the thing that's being presented to you that you're blocking the blessings, and you're so hyper focused on an outcome that you can't see all of the things that the universe is trying to encourage you to move towards so that you can actually achieve a lot more than your current situation. We have some more cards. What guidance does Cancer need to know? 1, 2. More guidance for Cancerian Collective, please. Thank you. Another one? Thank you. Okay. Do it. Perfect. So the King of Pentacles. So the guidance for you is to step into your King of Pentacles energy. You need to realize that all of the things that surround you are basically there for two purposes. They're either a blessing or they're a lesson. And what you need to do is step into your king energy and ignore all of the jokers, all of the jesters, all of the people who are trying to bring you down. And you need to stand strong in your king energy. It's time to create and go after the things that you actually want. Because ultimately, in a month, in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years, you're going to be sat on a throne surrounded by pentacles. And you're going to be so glad that you didn't listen to people's comments, opinions, feedback, and you just stayed authentically true to yourself. And I think that is the beauty of life, that some people love to try and they're not scared to try. They're not afraid to go out and try different things. And there's other people who are, and they're cautious, and that's okay. But it's my job and it's my role as an intuitive tarot reader to empower you to actually go after the things that serve your highest purpose, to go for things that you're actually authentically aligned with. And right now, I really get the feeling that you're not doing that. So please, please, please do things that authentically align with you. It's the perfect time to do that. That was followed by the Three of Cups. So I see a celebration. I see this coming into union. I would spend a lot more time focusing on people who uplift you, focus on groups that uplift you. I think it's crazy that people on the internet will support you and encourage you and uplift you way more than people in your immediate circle will. That's concerning to me. And I feel like if you have people in your immediate circle who are quite negative about your journey or your goals, it's important to decide how much energy and time we're going to give to them and to that situation. Are we going to let this person continue to bring us down? Or are we going to take what we know, because we're in tune with spirit and we're authentic to ourselves? Are we going to move with pure intentions and stop listening to people? Or are we going to let these people bring us down? I'd have a little closer look at your immediate circle. And if there are people who vibrate at a lower frequency than you, let's say, I would be mindful about the things that you share with them and the goals and things that you make them aware of. Because I feel like not everyone has your best interest at heart. I do also feel with the Three of Cups that there's going to be a union with somebody unexpectedly. I don't think it'll be a lover. I think it won't be romantic. I think it will be somebody who's like a bit of a breath of fresh air. There's somebody new that's coming into your auric field and they're making you go, hold on a minute, but we're besties already. Like, where has this come from? Like, we immediately just got on. This is fantastic. And I think that that is going to be an unexpected gift for you in the next month, I'm going to say. In the next month, I think somebody unexpected is going to rear their head and it's going to make you go, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. Like, this is the friendship I've needed, or this is the boost, the motivation that I've needed. And I think that that will all come to fruition. Now is the time to pick your battles. So Five of Swords. So again, it's eclipse season. Things are purging out. It's not a time to resist change. It's a time to embrace change. And I would pick my battles very wisely. So don't engage in gossip. Don't sort of, react to everything. I would take a step back and really process the things that are affecting you. Think about how they're affecting you. Think about why they're affecting you, because ultimately we want to move forward from this and we don't want these things damaging us any further in the future. We've then got the Page of Swords. I feel like the Page of Swords, any page to me represents quite immature energy in terms of something's in its early stages. I'm not saying you're immature. I can be immature. Everyone can be immature. But the Page of Swords to me is saying that there is something in the early stages here, something, and I think it's your spiritual team, is starting to develop. It's starting to grow. It's starting to level up. You're starting to have that trust in yourself. You're starting to have that faith in your own abilities. And you are now able to start nourishing areas of your life that you actually know, you intuitively know, because you trust in yourself, you trust in spirit, you trust in source. You know that these things are going to work. So although it's only early days and it's only just beginning, you know that this is going to be a wonderful thing if you continue to nourish that. And I urge you to. Let's see. We get a final clarifying card. What does Cancer need to know before this reading ends? Do they know? Do they know? Right, okay. So next card up is the Six of Pentacles. So again, this to me screams all about energy spending. Think about where we're spending energy. Think about where we're spending time. Are those things giving us back energy? Are they fueling us? Are they feeding us? Or are they making us feel trapped, stuck, bringing us down, making us feel negative about ourselves and our ideas? Think about where you're spending energy and think about the return that you get from that. If everything's one-sided, it quickly becomes draining. If everything is take away from you, it's eventually going to burn you out to the point where you've then got enough energy to go after the things that you want. And these are the things that are sent to test us. Think about that. The final card that came out is the High Priestess. So if we go back to the Chariot, I did say that I see these balances, this balance, this yin-yang energy. I always see this in the black and white parts of the High Priestess. I think I got it at the start because it's now time to make that movement. It's now time to find that inner balance so movement can happen, so you can move towards something on the Chariot. And I think it's coming out as the last card as well here, because once we do find that balance, once we ground ourselves with the moon and we find something that spiritually nourishes us whilst being authentic to ourselves and moving in a balanced way, we'll stand in our high priestess energy. And ultimately, that's what we all want to do. We all want to be co-creating with the universe. We all want to be in a position where we go, yeah, I turned my life around. Yeah, I did that. That's amazing. And I know after this card reading that you are more than capable of achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. So please, please, please think about where you're spending your energy. Spend time on yourself, spend time alone, really analyze the areas of life that you want to nourish and you want to pour energy and time into. Don't pay attention and don't pay energy, at mass at least, to things that are draining you or things that aren't giving you anything back energetically. And basically move with pure intentions. I think everything will come together, Cancer. It's just about trusting in yourself, finding that inner balance and trusting that inner voice. Go after the things that you want. Don't ignore your intuition and your downloads from the universe, and move with pure intentions. If you like this reading, please hit me a like, drop me a comment and let me know how it resonates to you. I am a Leo star sign, sun sign, should I say. My horoscope is Leo, but all of my placements are Cancerian. So let me know whereabouts you're from. I love to hear from other water placements as well. Let me know. Drop me a comment down below. Are you cross-watching? Where are you cross-watching for? Are you a Cancer? Does this relate to you? And if you really love the reading, please hit subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 followers, subscribers, whoever. I'm basically trying to grow the collective because I love doing intuitive tarot and I want to help you guys as much as possible. So please do hit subscribe. It's a massive motivation boost and it just keeps me going. So keep me going. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a great week.